Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif. And Baka's absent. There, I left plenty of space. Does that make everybody happy this time?
I'll be honest, I kind of felt like I was going to hear him regardless. I've done this so many weeks in a row. It's like, wait.
Anytime somebody's absent, that's always like it's in my head, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right. There's like a speed bump.
At least Baka's last on the list, on the way that we do this, where mine's awkward, right? Because I'm right after Chicken, so it's like I'm the middle person there.
You know, I gotta say I've never missed a show, so 100% attendance rate.
Yeah, but if you miss a show, we just don't have a show, so you don't have a choice but to be 100%.
Me and Griff both have 100%.
You or Griff, then
it's kind of cheating, but yes.
It is cheating, but hey,
it is cheating.
I fluff my numbers all I want. Fluff my feathers, as I like to call it.
To be fair, neither Griff or I ever missed a show until we got into the video world.
That is true.
When it was audio only, neither one of us missed it.
Well, that's true. I mean, I don't know who would watch a show about somebody just talk. Well, I don't know. I guess there is YouTube. People watch people talk all the time. So
there's individual podcasts. So I guess it's one of those. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just gonna say, before we get into what we're playing, I just want to tech gripe for a second. I'm gonna complain about a thing. Because it's sort of tangentially related to the gaming stuff. I bought a new battery backup on Monday for my PC to plug into. And it's a step up from what I had before. So theoretically it's better because the other one was dying. Like, the other one, there wasn't even a power flicker on Monday while Chicken was streaming. And my battery just turned itself off and shut down my computer. Like, not shut it down, like, safely, just power off. I'm like, I'm throwing you out a window. I'm going to get a bigger replacement for you that's going to be better. I get the better replacement and the battery won't charge in it. So I have to return it. I'm so mad. I'm like, why? Why are you like this? Why am I just not meant? So the whole week, because it hasn't worked since out of the box, basically. And I just haven't had a chance to run back to return it. So I'm like, I'm just not meant to have a battery backup for this thing, I guess. I'm just livid about it. I'm going to try again. If the next one also does not charge, I'm going to return it and refund it and be like, I'm done with this. I will just get a surge protector power strip, apparently, because that's all I can use these things for. So mad. So that's my tech complaint for the week, and I just wanted to throw it out there so that everybody else felt my frustration. Which also, like, I was plugging it up and hooking everything up Monday evening, so before I recorded Dragon Age stuff. So Dragon Age episodes, like, 4, 5, and 6, if there's an underlying frustration, it's because I was staring at the battery part just blinking at me like it is right now, because it's like, I don't work because I'm garbage. I don't work because I'm garbage. Like,
well, it works. It just doesn't charge.
I'm so mad. So That's a thing. I'll have Dragon Age up 3 up today, probably after the show. I'll just go ahead and post it. So that, by the time that you're actually listening to this, 4 will be up on deck, and you'll know why I'm upset. I tried not to be, though. That's my tech gripe.
That's funny.
What games have we been playing this week?
I played some more Psychonauts. And also played some Back 4 Blood. We finally finished Act 1 of Back 4 Blood, and it was so disappointing.
Oh
no!
Don't start with that.
It was so disappointing. We finished like the mission before the finale of Act 1 is fucking hard, man. Like, it was fun. Like, we had a great time.
Okay.
We got to this part, and it was like we died once. But once you died that one time, it was like, okay, now everybody just do what they're supposed to do. Boom, done. Like, it was, there was no big bad that came up, nothing like that. It was so anticlimactic. And I was like,
is there a big gun in the middle?
Yes.
Okay, we played that on the beta. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. That is anticlimactic as fuck, because that level was not that hard at all. We died once, and then afterwards it was like, cool. I know we finished it.
Like, it was, not difficult at all. So I was sad with that. That Act 2 started out okay. We only got a couple into it, but I mean, Act 1 is massively long. Like, they could have made 4 acts. They didn't have to do the first one where it's like I mean, it's 50% of the game is Act 1. Like, nearly 50% of the game is Act 1.
I would probably go, because I've seen like a list of the story things and whatnot. I would probably say Act 1 is about 60 to 65% of the whole game. It is ridiculous how front-loaded that game is.
Yeah, so I was like, okay. So we'll play some more of that tomorrow night. Really close to done with Psychonauts 2. Really enjoying the plot line on it. I've got to go back off air and go back through some of the mines and try to get as much of that stuff out of there that I could. And maybe I didn't have the ability before to be able to get some of the stuff out. Now I do. But the plot line itself is really good. They gave me a little bit of a twist I wasn't expecting, which was awesome. Because I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, you know, because it's kind of a kiddish like game, but there is nothing childlike about this game. Nothing.
Other the only child thing is the graphics.
Yes, the artwork is it. Everything else is a very adultish. So and then we played like on Sundays is Green Hell Night with me and No Pants on YouTube. And so this past Sunday, like he's like, I'm dying. Like I've got a fever, I've got 2 worms in me, I've got to get this done. And I'm like, where are you at? And so he gave me the directions. I was like, okay, I might be able to get over there before you die. Well, he passed out. And I was able to get over to him, jump down into this little hole that he was at, went over to grab him, and I was like, dude, we can't get out of this hole. There's like no way for your guy to grab and get out of this hole. I couldn't figure it out.
Uh-oh.
And he was like, oh no, right? And he had like no energy left. And I said, okay, there's this cliff here. Maybe they put it here so you could jump off the side, land down into this water, and you'd be fine. So I did it.
And you're dead.
And I died.
Yep.
Because it looked that way, but it was actually kind of on the outskirts of the game. It's not really an area you can normally get to. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I had to remake all my shit and do it. And it was hilarious. I was dying laughing at him because it was just like, he was like, all right, I got this, got that. It took him an hour and a half. It took both of us together an hour and a half to make him survive, basically. Just because of the way that game is set up. And it's like, oh my God.
Why didn't you just let him die, pick up his stuff, and take it back?
Because that's not the way we roll. And he doesn't like to die.
Oh, okay. So it's all right that you killed yourself to see if you could get him out, but it's not okay.
Well, to be fair, I thought I was going to survive.
To be fair, I'm gonna tell you, if that was Red in me in that situation, I would have ran back to my body, dragged him off, and dumped him off the ledge, and been like, "All right, you die too. Now I'm coming with you."
No, it was fine. It wasn't a big deal, but it was one of those where it was hilarious just because we're like going through and we're just wandering around now, just trying to, because basically the last thing we have to do is we have to rescue children that will randomly pop up, and you have to pick them up and then take them to one of the nearest villages, and the villages all fill up as you go, which kind of sucks because we were kind of hanging out in one of the villages that was not near our place, and we'd go to hang out there and we would sleep in the hammock. Well, now the hammock's full because one of the people that we rescued is now hanging out in the hammock. And then the other thing, like there's people that'll be like in caves, and they might have some type of ailment, maybe food poisoning, or they've been stung by something, or bitten by a snake, whatever it happens to be, and you have to heal them and rehydrate them or kill their fever or whatever, and then they'll just kind of disappear and they've gone back to the village. Or you'll have one where they're hanging from trees, that they're dead hanging from trees, and you have to bury them, or not bury them, burn them, like a burial pyre, basically. So you got to get all the stuff together for that and do it. So, but there's a lot of it we got to do, because it's like we have to have like 1,000 respect for each one of these groups, and each time you do one of these things, it's like 25 points of respect that you get. So there's got to be a lot of these somewhere. So we're like, okay, we got to figure it out.
So you're just looking for dead people to bury, basically.
Yeah, basically. So it's.
Oh, can you? Make
so now
them
we're just
dead
wandering
and then
around
set
trying to
them
find
on
dead
fire?
people.
like inadvertently, I accidentally killed this guy. Now I'm gonna put him on fire because that's the nice thing to do. Points.
Yeah.
Points.
Yeah, well,
Good point.
there's like one bad tribe. Well, there's one bad set of tribes, right? So it's like you always know what they look like because they'll come at you. Where all the good ones stay inside of their little hut, with the exception of the children. Will stay inside their little village area, and so you have this whole, like, they're coming at you, and they're gonna respawn. So you'll go up to an area, and you've killed somebody from that area, and within 20 minutes to 30 minutes, in real time, you'll end up with another one that respawns and walks across that area or whatever. So you got to be kind of careful while you're doing it. But it's I don't know. It's one of those where it's like I kill them for bones,
Right.
because you can use the bones, and so I use those because I always have 1 or 2 bones on me, because bones help with fever and they help with other stuff. So it's like I always have bones and a half a coconut shell. So if I've got to make a fire and make some bone soup, then I can make bone soup on the fly. I've learned my lesson with that.
Okay.
Bone soup.
Do what now?
I said bone soup to help with the fever.
Bone soup is healthy, man. It's healthy.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound healthy, but it's healthy.
No.
Those bones come from people, so you're cannibals.
Well, you can. No, well, not really. I mean,
you just said I killed those people, and then I carry their bones around for bones.
But
so
I
you
get
are
the
a cannibal.
meat too. But I don't eat the meat. I just eat the bones, and all the bones look the same. Whether they come from a
sorry,
pig or
I think
them.
that explains
And
you from
cannibals-
cannibalism.
And cannibals everywhere rejoice in his words. Yes, we can eat people bones and not get in trouble. I love it.
There's a
New
loophole.
world order.
Loophole. They could come from a pig or they could come from people, and at the same time, the bones all look the same and they all give you the same nutrients. So why does it matter?
They taste the same too. So yeah, fine.
I mean,
I don't know if they taste the same. To my guy, they probably do.
I think it's one of those "but kind of things.
You know. It's
Hey,
like
they were
playing
trying to kill
Phasmo,
me,
picking up the bone
so
and
but
eating
there
it.
is they've got the wonkiest thing. Like, and this is one of the things I hope they repair at some point, which is, okay, let's say I shoot a guy, it takes like 4 arrows to kill him or something, right?
Mhm.
So we kill 4 arrows, they kill him with 4 arrows, and then you go back to the body to try to find the arrows that are in there, because the only time that I'm gonna like clean the dude is if I need bones, right? Other than that, the body just disappears. So
The dude.
clean bones. So I'm trying to get all my arrows out of him, and you so body's to my left, right? And I have to turn to the right and turn my head at a direct angle and hope it highlights my arrow to be able to click on it and pull it out. Like, it's not where I'm like I can look directly at the arrow, have a crosshair on the arrow, and it will not highlight it up.
That's weird.
Now, if it's on the ground, anything like that, fine. But if it's inside of a body of some sort, it could be a human body, it could be a pig, it could be whatever. And it's not going to do that. Fish is, you could just grab a hold of it and you actually grab it and the fish at the same time. But yeah, it's weird. And then, so we went through all this, like took an hour and a half to get him healthy again, right? Got it. And we're like, okay, let's go back to doing what we're trying to do. And I'm like, okay, I got to go get some dirty water so we can put it in our filter so we have clean water later. And he's like, okay. So I'm headed to this little riverbank that's next to us. And I'm walking around the corner to do it. And I hear a guy and turn around and look. And I said, there's a guy. And he's like, where at? And I was like, right here between our spot and the water. And he's like, okay. He's like, there's another guy. And I said, oh, behind him? Because I couldn't see him because of a tree. And he goes, yes. And I was like, okay. And so I kill the first dude. Took 2 shots. One on the chest, one on the head. Dude dead.
Okay.
Second guy is like 7 foot tall, giant fucking helmet thing made out of something on his head, so you can't headshot him. And I've got like four arrows on me, so this is not gonna go well. And he's got these 2 giant tribal axes, is wielding, and now your normal person holds him with 2 hands.
Okay.
Like,
Oh, he's just,
so,
okay.
He's
So
a
he's got,
roaming
like,
elite.
He works
and I was
out.
like, okay, wait. is this a boss fight? Like, are we getting a boss fight for the first time in this game? This is awesome.
It works out.
So like, dude's got his hands out like this, and he just starts wailing and swinging. And No Pants has on armor that he's built that is made out of metal. It knocks him 15, 20 feet back off the hit and knocks his health halfway down. I have nothing on me because I just previously died with my metal armor on because I'm smart. Instead of just taking it off and then taking my dive off.
Nice.
I did that.
Smart.
So, yeah, because I'm smart. So I have nothing on me, and I go over and I'm like, okay, I'm behind him, so the swing shouldn't hit me. No, he swings almost 360 when he does it, nails me, knocks me 15, 20 feet back, and now I'm down to a quarter health. And so I'm sitting there trying to eat food and heal myself as best I can.
Eat some of that bone soup you got there, cannibal.
Well, I can't. He's between me and the bone soup area, okay? So I can't
My
do it.
bone soup.
So what I'm doing is I'm waiting for him to swing, and then I'm running up behind him and poking him with the spear. And then I'll run back real quick, let him do his lunges, and I go back up, poke him with the spear again. Somehow, No Pants, I don't know if he got hit while he was trying to wrap, like trying to heal himself or what the deal was, but he dies. So he comes, luckily we're right at our house, right? So he respawns out of the bed in there and comes running out, and he's like, his backpack is sitting below the guy that's with the giant axes. And he's like, how am I supposed to get there? I was like, wait for a swing. So he waits for a swing, runs over there real quick, and he goes, how quick is it to grab the stuff now? And I was like, it's not too bad. So he was able to pick his stuff up real quick, run back over, get himself healed back up for, because when you respawn, you only have a half health.
Right.
So he got himself healed back up and then goes running back in, and we finally killed this dude. But oh my God, that was like the last thing we did the other night. I was like, holy shit, this is ridiculous.
All I'm gonna say is he was coming for them bones to make some bone soup from
right?
you.
He got mad. Like I can see it, a little bit. He hadn't heard a rumor that was going on.
Yeah, you've been farming my friends for bone soup. I'm gonna farm you for bone soup.
Well, and the thing is like I kind of expected this not near our place. I expected it to be like, oh, you got to go get this tablet, or you got to go do this, or you got to go do that, and then this guy be in that area. Not, hey, you're hanging out in the place you've been this entire time. We're gonna have this guy up here. So I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like the battle was great. I was cool with that, but I feel like we cheesed the situation a little bit because of the fact that it was right next to where we lived. So dying allowed us to be able to go back and do it. It's kind of like the spider we'd had the week before where we were just dying, just doing it on Grounded, which we did play a little bit of Grounded the other night too. And which was fun because it was, we finally finished our walkway above everything, and we'd gotten the walkway finished, and now we're building like a little hut right next to the tree. So we have like a secondary base, if you will, because that's near the water and everything else over there too. And so we finished it, and I was like, okay, I've got to get more stuff, more grass and things like that. I'll be there. I'll head back the direction, and No Pants, all of a sudden it pops up on the screen and says No Pants has been stung by a bee or stabbed by a bee or something like that. And I was like,
that's worse.
I was like, did you just piss off a bee? And he was like, yeah, because we're up high, we're above the grass line with the thing that we're building. Well, he shot it with an arrow just to see what would happen. Guess what? You die if you don't have the right shit.
That's what happens.
Oh, it was funny though. We had a good time with that, and then we've created our areas that we need to be at for to be able to quickly move from point A to point B, because I hate going through the grass because you can't see shit, and if a spider does go after you, you got shit in your way. And I feel like they've made the wolf spiders even more of dicks than they were originally. So it's like, okay, you know, what do we need to do? At least this way one person can kind of look out for everybody else and be like, okay, you got one coming toward you, type deal. But it was Friday night was fun, but it was not as eventful as the week before with the stupid spider caught inside of the compound. But it was still fun. That's all I got. That's my games. That's what I has.
I guess we've been doing some survival-esque things. We did Ark, because Chicken's trying to remodel our entire house, like rebuild the whole thing, and it's gonna be a mansion.
To put it
mansion,
into,
I guess.
To put it into respect to, thankfully we had to download a mod for stackable foundations so that because I couldn't get a big enough piece of land to make it flat enough. And the total, like just for the stone, I think the total was somewhere around 50,000 stone. So that's just for the foundation.
Do you have a
yes, we
do
do
you
have
it set up to where you're harvesting more than you normally would?
Yeah, like okay. I took the Dodicarus out, and breaking 3 rocks gave me like 2,200 stone.
Yeah.
So it was real fucking quick. But still, it's all about going out, farming it, and bringing it back and crafting. Going out, farming it, bringing it back, crafting it. But that's just the foundation. Like, I'm going to have a library. We're going to have a storage room, a kitchen, a dining room. Upstairs is going to be the manufacturing area with everything that we use to create stuff, from the workshop to the industrial forge. And then upstairs is going to be everybody's individual bedrooms. There's going to be a trough up there so that we can have a small area for small animals. And then on the roof is going to be the landing platform for our birds. We're also having an emergency bird up there too, so when you die, you can spawn on the bed up there, get on the emergency bird, and fly back to your body real quick. So
yeah, you gotta make sure you get it.
Like, it's gonna be huge. Like I when I first built it, I was like, oh, I'll just have 2 double doors, and they're so small compared to the whole house. I was like, you know what? I need stone dinosaur gates, like those big ass ones. I was like, this works better because it's 4 high. So the entrance room is going to be 4 high. It's going to have a huge. If I could do chandeliers, I would.
That's where a lot of the, like when I was playing Ark years ago, so where we were located at, north of us, there was an entire group of people that were up there, and those guys, when you went into their place, that's exactly what they had. You would open it up, and it was just like massive, but it allowed them to be able to put like is it the forge that's so large, like that massive
the industrial forge? Yes.
Yeah, that thing is so like they had one of those inside their building. Like it was massive.
Yeah, mine's gonna be on the 2nd floor, and it's basically gonna stick up through the floor up into the bedroom area, but I'm gonna leave it open so that it can sit in there and just kind of, at least be in the house and usable. Right. I really didn't want to put it outside or have to redesign the entire house just to fit that in there. So I got a place for it, but it's gonna take a lot of materials to get done. I got the foundation and like the door done. I've still got so many walls and windows to do. It is unbelievable, but it's gonna keep me occupied for a while.
Things for him, so it's been...
Do you have your growth rate up too?
What do you mean?
Can you do that, like the respawn rate?
Yeah, I think so. It's everything respawns pretty quick.
Yeah, it doesn't take forever.
Yeah.
That is one thing that we wish that they would do on Grounded. You know how like what they did with Ark was they set it up to where if you had a foundation set down, that within a certain radius of that foundation, nothing would grow in that area.
Yeah.
Well, the Grounded, it doesn't matter if you have foundation set down or not. If it like grass will still grow. Like
really?
They've changed that a little bit, but it like for a while that's the way it was really bad. But they've done a really good job since then, because like inside of our base there's nothing.
Right.
But it used to be where everything was growing up through the inside of our building and everything else. They've kind of changed that a little bit, but we do wish though that it was, if like right now we're building the skyline thing basically across the top.
Yeah.
We wish it was one of those, if we knocked one of those out of the way, that skyline would count as a foundation, but it's not going to, even though it is a floor. So it would be nice.
Would be. Other than that, we Kat got into. She watched us raid in WoW on like Wednesday and Thursday, and then decided that she kind of wanted to try it out. So we played a little last night with her. I don't know if she's gonna stick with it. We're kind of like 50-50 on whether or not she likes it. But we'll see. Other than that,
she's got a month to try it out. So
yeah,
we'll see where she goes with it.
Yeah. So other than that, I don't think we've been doing too much. I'm addicted to 2 Point Hospital, but that's just
addicted
me.
to a sim game of some sort.
Yeah. It's I'm at a point where I've got so much stuff going on with the holidays coming up and everything in real life that my brain's like, don't commit to anything, just play something that you don't have to think a whole lot about. And it's been 2 Point Hospital for some reasons. It's taking a lot of my days, so that game is crack. It is.
You used to do that with Tropico too, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's almost always like anytime that it's like my brain just needs to turn off for a while, it's gonna be some sort of like simulator game. So something that I don't have to think too much about. And that one, I mean, it requires a certain level. It's like you've got to do all of these things to get your, hospital to the 2nd star and the 3rd star. And I try to get 3 stars before I move on. So you've got to try to figure out how to make it work without the hospital imploding or you going completely broke. But other than that, it's pretty, like, autopilot friendly, I guess. So, I like that game. I recommend it if you're looking for something kind of silly to play that's a sim. I think it's...
And you like puns.
There are a lot of puns. I've just dealt with it,
It's made it more tolerable of me.
And me.
That's true or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I've been doing. It's not a whole lot. I've just got so much else going on that I've just like had these couple of things and that's it.
Yeah. I streamed all week and I got to play and finish Sphinx in the Curse Moon. We told you it'd only take about 1 week. It could be like 12 hours or so. And I sent THQ Nordic a tweet too because it was unfair how they did my man dirty at the end of it. It was 2003. It's 18 years old. Get over the spoilers I'm about to say. But you play the whole game because you're trying to save the mummy from his curse, and you turn him back into a human. And at the end, when he's about to get his last canopic vase, he's so excited he trips over himself and he breaks it. And the Imhotep, the main guy who's kind of guiding you along the whole thing, he's like, "Oh, don't worry, we're gonna be able to figure out a new way to save you and free you from your curse and turn you back into human." And we're like, "Yeah!" And here we are, 18 years later. My man is still a mummy, has no resolution, is stuck in limbo forever. Like they put a pure cliffhanger right there, as in your face as they possibly could. Be like, "Oh no, he's still cursed." Well, don't worry, we'll find another way to save you. And here we are.
Well, that was the original THQ too, right?
Mm-hmm.
That did it. So like they probably shut down shortly after that.
It even got pretty good reception too when it came out. People enjoyed the shit out of it, but unfortunately, it didn't do well enough to.
Maybe they'll do because they own the licensing. Maybe they'll end up doing like a remake of that one, like modernize it, and then that way they can finish it out.
It's a remaster. So I sent them a tweet. I was like, "Yo, man, where my sequel at? You're doing all these sequels for all these older games. Where my sequel at?" So maybe we'll get one, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Oh well, but that's what I played.
Did you enjoy it again, like the way you remembered it, or was it one of those where it was like, okay, this was a fun nostalgic, road to go down?
Oh yes, I enjoyed the shit out of it. It was a lot of fun. It really, being an adult and playing that game is so different than being a kid and playing that game. I smashed it. Like none of the puzzles got me good. Like nothing really stood out as too difficult, and I just kind of obliterated the game. It was fun. And that is exactly what I needed after something like Ghost of Tsushima, where you go from this pinnacle game of unbelievable magnitude to something so old school and simple and fun. It's like perfect palate cleanser.
The problem you run into, I think, if you made a game nowadays that's like that, it would tank in reviews.
Yes,
because it's not complicated enough.
Yeah,
yes.
I can see that.
Oh yes. I finished it early. It only took me like an hour and a half to finish out it, and then Ollie was sitting there harassing me because he wanted me to play Darkwood, and I was like, okay, and then he's like, oh, you need to play Outlast before you play Darkwood, and I was like, yeah, Grif has that, I could play that, so I downloaded it and played it, and I beat it in about 3 hours. It was fun. For sure, but I don't get scared in games like that. I just kind of
disappointed that you weren't afraid.
I turn them into more comedy style because in almost every horror game, everything is scripted. So once you break it down into a logical sense, you can manipulate the game as much as you want.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, those motherfuckers, the enemies in that game have goddamn blinders on. Like sometimes they walk out of the doorway and I'm like standing right there going
too close to.
Yeah, but I had to like walk up to them, and like if I'm sitting by the door crouched and they're just like, look at them go, and then I just go behind them and walk out the door. Or the dude who was walking down the hallway at me, and I was like, oh no, but the music didn't start playing, so I just crouched and hit the wall, and he just walked down by. I was like, I'm just gonna go this way. Peace. And then I just got up and took off, and like he didn't hear me. I was like, okay, so they're deaf and blind. Gotcha. So it's just avoid them as much as possible. There was only one part that caught me dirty in that game. And it was right after you go through the laundry room and you're supposed to, where the elevator is, you're supposed to go up the stairs and jump up to go up the next floor. I was searching that whole area because I kept trying to make that jump and I wasn't doing it. So I was like, oh, you're not supposed to go that way. So I just started searching everywhere and couldn't find anything. I found the dude in the basement who killed me twice. He killed me the third time because I let him.
Oh, okay.
I did because I wasted too many batteries searching for everything. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to reset this area. So I just let him kill me, grabbed all the batteries, and went to where I was supposed to.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Because I wasted too many batteries looking for nothing. So I was like, fuck it, I know where all the batteries are. Let's just reset this, grab the batteries, and move on. But, I mean, for the most part, that game was really fun. It's probably more fun to watch when people are scared because they're much more cautious. Me, I just kind of run at them and run away.
To be fair, like, you were more cautious than I am playing it now, but it's because I know where everything is. But it's one of those, it was fun to watch you knowing that you don't get scared in games like that. Because I've watched people play that do get scared. I preferred watching you because it was like a comedy of errors shit, right? It wasn't It wasn't one of those things where it was set up like a horror game. It was like, I think the only time I saw you, there was like one time that you're like, okay, he scared me. And that was it. That was like everybody else been like, whoa, you were like, oh, he scared me. And then you just went on and it was it. Like it was... Like, I didn't expect this jump scare. Thank you, sir.
It was really
there were a couple of times, like, when they try to get you with that jump scare, and, you open the door, and it's like, oh, my God, he got me good. Oh, my God. There were definitely a few times where...
The one in the kitchen's the one that gets pretty much everybody the first time through.
Kitchen? Which one was in the kitchen?
There's a dude that literally just comes out at you at the kitchen. You've gone through this entire area, and you go through... And then there's a dude that just pops out of the kitchen, and that's it. You're just kind of like, scared. But it was for me, for somebody that loves that game and can play through it as quickly as I can. I love watching everybody's different experience with that game. I do recommend playing through Whistleblower.
Yeah, Ollie said I have to play through it, so I'll play through it
because it's a different experience. It's a grosser experience. I will say it that way.
I don't know if I have that though.
You do. Oh. It even popped up the little thing for me too. Okay. It's like now you could play Whistleblower, DLC Whistleblower, whatever the hell it is. But yeah, I plan on playing that. I will say the gameplay loop was about what I expected. It's get to next area, find key. Get to next area, find new key.
Yeah, one point he's like, why do I have to keep finding these keys?
Where the fuck are these keys? The one time that it was different was go collect the 3 fuses. I was like, oh my God, some different gameplay. Here we go, fuses. So I just
listening
for the
to
most part,
though,
it was pretty good.
Like
the
there's
a nice
parts
twist.
where you were like, let me get a picture. I'm like, are we playing Phasmo again?
Yeah, I know. It's like, let me get a picture, and I was like, what?
Let me get a camera. Let me get this picture. Just trying to get the right angle on him. But yeah, the end was a little twist too. It felt like Resident Evil. Like they were like, I don't know where to go with the end of this, so we're just gonna take something from Resident Evil and kind of throw it there at the end. It felt so out of place compared to everything else. Then the end, I was like, okay.
You talking about the end gameplay, or do you mean like the plot line end?
The end gameplay. I wish that they would have done more with that, because it felt like they made this incredible game and then they had the end story. They're like, shit, we need to slot this in some places. And it felt like they only did like one or two things with that. And I was super interested every time it happened, but it didn't happen enough, in my opinion, to kind of create a stronger intrigue. It was like, this one time, oh wow, it helped me. What? And then this one other time, it's like, oh, that's neat. And it's so far and in between the intervals for that, I was like, okay. And then the whole end game is wrapped around that specific part. I was like, I needed some more of that. Like I needed something else to happen in the asylum.
The files help you out a little bit about what's going on.
I read most of the files. Well,
yeah,
some
there's
of the
a video.
files.
There's a video that's near the beginning, that you watch, and you can see where all that took place originally, and like you can see it that way. But then what's interesting to me is that like once you play Whistleblower's ending blew my mind more than this one did.
The main game. Okay.
Yeah, because it was one of those where I was like, wait, when did this take, it's like that mentality of like, what's happening? What's going on right now? But Whistleblower, I think they just went, okay, let's see how gross we can be. Like, I honestly believe that's exactly what they did.
Well, I'm definitely interested in playing it. I'll see how it turns out. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to pick up next. It's going to be a longer term game. I'll be good for this week, but next week, which is Thanksgiving week, I will probably not be streaming. Maybe on Monday for a couple of hours, but the Nugget's going to be mine all week, so I'm not going to be able to
He's
stream
not yours
and
normally?
watch him.
It's not yours. No, you don't claim him during the other days of the week.
He goes
No,
to daycare.
that's yeah. I was gonna say that's why it's babysitting for now, because when he watches himself, he'll be sitting himself. But yeah, this week we'll start something. Next week, not anything, because it's a holiday weekend, and the week after that we'll get back to whatever we start. Or I might play something short term for next week only before we start something long term. So we'll see where we go. But I think that's all that I've played.
Yeah. You want to talk about some new stuff then?
Yeah, throw up some news.
Cool. Where do you want to start? Because there's a couple of things that I think we'll chat about for a second, I guess.
We could do a quick one. There's a rumor going around right now that Halo Infinite, people are convinced that Monday the multiplayer is going to drop, even though December 8th is the original date for it, because there's a lot of stuff that Microsoft has scheduled, and currently supposedly the actual servers are open and alive,
right?
And so people think that on November the 15th. So I guess we'll see when this is out whether or not it's true or not.
I mean, that's almost a month ahead of time.
To be fair, it is Halo's 20th anniversary. It's the big 2-0, which I'll be 100% honest, releasing this is not the kind of anniversary that I want for Halo. Like
Right.
Halo Infinite multiplayer free to play release. Congratulations, 20 years of Halo. It's like, no.
20 years of Halo, time to start a whole new chapter.
I'd rather them give me the campaign, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, they're probably not going to do that either, so.
But I guess we'll see whether or not that actually comes to light or not. But that was just something I wanted to make sure it was quick in there and that we mentioned it. So if it does happen, people know ahead of time. But if it doesn't happen, I'm sorry. It's other people that think it's going to happen. I honestly don't think they're going to do it.
No, granted, they are right. It is strangely quiet for their fucking 20-year anniversary of their biggest game that they've ever made. So it feels very odd.
I think it's weird too, because it's one of those where it's like, originally Infinite was supposed to be released last year from when they originally announced it. Did no one think, why don't we just wait one more year and we'll just tell them it's for the 20th anniversary that we're going to do it? Like, that's when it's coming to light, but no one thought that ahead of time, like 5 years ago when they started working on the game or whenever it was they started working.
Why would you think anybody would think ahead?
I mean, I don't know. That's just what I think marketing people are supposed to do at some point.
That's not their job.
I don't know. We'll see tomorrow or today, wherever we're at in time.
Another quick one. Valve is delaying the Steam Deck. That's gonna mess with me every time. The Steam Deck until next year because of all the material shortages.
I mean, that's at this point, like, you should just expect that anything that requires any sort of electronics, it's either going to be in short supply or it's going to be delayed if it hasn't come out yet. Because just can't get stuff right now, man. It is what it is.
Materials were starting to get strained before the pandemic, and after the pandemic, it's real difficult.
I mean,
February is when they're projecting to start rolling those out.
February is like the date for everything coming back. We're out of it right now, February. Like,
it's like, happy birthday to me. All the things are available in the month that I'm born.
Same. So.
Right? It's because of us, Grif.
Somehow I doubt that, but, pretend.
Yeah, for our birthdays.
Unity is acquiring Sir Peter Jackson's Weta, which is the VFX stuff. So that's going to be neat.
I saw this story, and that is pretty goddamn wild. Unity is the system that everybody uses, game developers use for pretty much almost all of their game development in some sense, which is why I think it's Ubisoft or EA uses their Frostbite engine.
Yeah, it's certain companies have their own proprietary.
Yeah, you basically, but your independents are usually Unreal and
Unity.
And Unity.
And Unity getting this program is huge because it's what all the big movie companies use because the effects that they make are so good. We will be seeing extreme movie-like games here soon with companies having access to this.
I think part of the reason Unity's got into this is because one of the things that's going on right now in the movie industry, the Mandalorian's one that I can think of right off the top of my head that uses this technology, which is they use the Unreal Engine to create an actual scene behind the actors. So the actors can actually interact and see the world that they're in. And then the camera is actually aligned with the movement of the background of that scene. So it allows them to, instead of using a green screen, it allows them to look like they're in a real environment and be able to do what they need to. And I think Unity's doing this to compete with Unreal on that level to get into the movie industry, and they can improve upon what's already there because you're already dealing with people that are currently in the movie industry and know where everything's at versus Unreal just being hired out to make the
Unreal
backgrounds.
Did just come out with the Unreal Engine 5, so Unity getting this competes with that, and I'll be honest that the potential of this is probably much higher than what Unreal has because I mean it's big. I mean $1.6 billion to purchase this. Everybody has seen this program used in a movie they've watched and have been like, wow, that looks good. So it's a pretty big purchase. I can't wait to see where or which game is going to be the first one to really use the full potential of this because I'm sure it's going to be something epic.
But
not
which
from
is funny
Epic.
Because Epic owns Unreal. I see what you did there, buddy.
Wow. Accidental. Wow. You want to talk Ubisoft or Rockstar? I guess those are our two choices.
We can talk. Let's do Rockstar, just because. So the definitive edition of Grand Theft Auto Trilogy came out. Which remember like a month and a half ago or a month ago when they were like, hey, we're going to pull all these games off of Steam and then we're going to release them on our own client. And then that way you can download them from there for all the definitive edition stuff. And we're all like, make sure you download the original versions of this. Otherwise they're going to go away. Little did we know at the time, it's also because they made a shit piece of remastered garbage that didn't run properly to start with, that they had to pull it off of their PC store.
Off their own store. Like, it's so bad they had to remove it from themselves.
Yeah.
Like, it kills me. Like, for as greedy as companies are, why? Why would you remove the old ones? Like, what you just did was build up hype. Everybody's like, oh, let me get some of that. They still have access to the old ones, sell a bunch of copies of those while people are waiting for the remasters. The remasters come out better, the higher reviews, people want to play it with new graphics. Boom, double dipping. But no, let's just remove every option of the trilogy games so nobody can buy anything. I feel like we're not getting anywhere. They're not making any profit in any part of this.
Well, and to top that off, you have people are pissed about it, so they're review bombing the hell out of it, and they're review bombing it, and it's like a 0.5 on Metacritic right now.
But is it really review bombing if it really does? Like, review bombing to me is usually when there's not anything argumentatively wrong with the game. You're just doing it because you're mad about, like, a studio that said something or one scene that you disagreed with. But this is actually, like, a legitimate, this game does not work. I'd say that's accurately reviewing
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I think it's funny, though, because the article that we've got that we're linking, it says review bombing on it, but I think it's funny because they were like, currently it's a 1 on PS5. And I was like, that's as fucking low as you can go. Yeah, you can't go any lower than 1 star.
0.5.
How low can you go? 1.
Like, come on, man. They're mad about it, but I mean, like, some of the stuff that they've said, like, let's see, unacceptable on so many levels. I can't even have the right words. This is so-called definitive edition is one of the most pathetic remasters of all time, especially considering how amazing Rockstar used to be. And this is the person, this is doomsday thought process, and the fact that they think this has destroyed Rockstar. Rockstar is no longer going to exist because this remaster of a game.
Yeah.
They're still bringing
because people are going to stop being GTA 5, they're not going to buy anymore. They're not going to buy any more Red Dead Redemption. Come on, man.
No. Although I think because people are really hard up for a Red Dead remaster for the first game. I think if they did this twice in a row and launched the Red Dead remaster with the same problems, it probably would, like, seriously hurt them. It wouldn't be the end of them, but it would seriously injure them.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because apparently, like, I'm reading through some of the comments and somebody is talking about the terrible upscaling for the graphics and everything, and that they must have used some sort of, like, AI to rescale or reskin some of the stuff because it's led to, like, just things not being quite where they should be and whatnot. It's pretty obvious. It's not like you look at it and you're like, oh, that's probably just a glitch. No big deal. It's like, this is seriously terrible. What are you doing?
Yeah, like, that was one of the things, is it doesn't even look good. Like, a lot of people are like, the few people that have actually gotten to play it are like, this does not look good for a remaster. Like, what did they do to this thing?
Well, my question is, where did they get the footage that they used for the trailer?
It's one of those not actual gameplay.
Yeah, like, it's got to be. But they had, like, the shot of the one I can think on top of my head is the subway coming around the corner, and then it had that slide across, and you could see the difference in the graphics and all that stuff. And then they showed, like, the streets in Miami or Vice City, showed the stuff for it, and it's like, and it looked totally different, very detailed on the way it was done. You could see graphically it was an older game, but it looked good remastered.
Oh, yeah.
What were they using for that? And is that guy the only person that had access to a good version of this game?
Apparently.
Like,
I guess so.
Did they happen to buy Weta and we didn't know it? Like, what's happening right now?
I think it's interesting that I'm reading through the comments of the article that we're going to link for, that you just linked in. Like, it's not so much about the article itself. It's a lot of discussion about whether or not that actually, like, why are you calling it review bombing when it's accurately reviewing a bad product? Just because it gets a negative score overall doesn't mean that it's review bombing. And I think that's an interesting takeaway from this, because it's something we don't really think about. Review bombing is a term that we use regularly now. Right. But it's being applied incorrectly here. And it's interesting to have to critically think about that. Like, this is not just because something gets a bad score doesn't automatically mean it's been review bombed. Sometimes it just is actually garbage like this. I just think it's interesting. It's an interesting conversation to have come out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. It's not really review bombing if it's a bad product.
Yeah, I think the term review bombing comes from the amount of reviews at the time. Like, I mean, it's like, what, 2,000 reviews? 2,000 plus reviews over the course of a few days. That's what they mean by review bombing. I mean, I guess most of the time bombing
So volume, I could see that.
Like, because 2,000 reviews over the course of a few days is quite a lot of reviews. That's a lot of angry people just slamming into it at once.
And people are going to be more likely to speak up if they're angry versus if they're happy.
Hey, if they're happy, they're busy playing the game.
Right.
That's how it works. If they're unhappy, they're not playing the game and review bombing. If they're happy, they're playing the game and not reviewing at all. So,
interesting. I do think it's interesting that they decided to pull it. Well, they pulled it because they said it had files that it wasn't supposed to have, but I kind of feel like maybe they pulled it because they knew it's not working.
Well, it did. It still had the all of the versions of it and all the versions since it originally happened.
The licensed music.
Well, they have the Vice City, or not Vice City. Sorry, San Andreas still has hot coffee in it, but you can't access that area of it.
But it's still there.
Oh yeah,
it's still there, but they removed the animations have been removed, and the scantily clad outfits for the girlfriend have been removed as well. So but it's still there. You just can't access it.
Well, you probably could.
It probably would break the hell out of the game.
Coder, you know, probably get in there and unblock some things. But still, that's a lot of work for that. But still, you could probably. I don't know. That's crazy to me. It's crazy. Hopefully, their next thing that they decide to do is not so terrible. Hopefully they fix this one. Okay, bets now. You think that they're gonna patch this and actually fix it, or they're just gonna quietly hope that nobody notices it went away and never bring it back?
This? Oh, I think they patch it.
You think they fix it?
Because because I mean it's on
patch it.
It's free to play on Xbox right now because it's part of Game Pass if I remember correctly. The and then you have then you've got it on PlayStation, you've got it on Switch, you've got it on PC, and that's too much money.
Oh yeah.
Because the issue you're going to run into is if they don't patch it and people already know it's garbage right now, nobody's buying that. Because my thought process is it'd be cool to be able to buy this and play it on Switch, But if I can't do that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Patching then.
Yeah.
We'll see. I wonder how long it's going to take.
And since Switch doesn't have reviews,
hey, Switch just relies on PC for all that part of it. They we make consoles and games. That's it. If you want anything extra, you go talk to your friends on PC. You go do reviews on PC. Right. All that stuff is on PC. You do that over there.
I got it now. Oh, I didn't think about this before.
What?
So Epic designed the Switch interface. I get it now.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that can't be true. They actually have a shopping cart on Nintendo's.
I mean, doesn't the Steam Epic Store have a shopping cart now too?
Yeah, but it took them forever. This was from release.
That's a good point.
Oh my god, shopping carts.
Everybody loves a shopping cart.
Shopping cart technology. Maybe Epic just called Nintendo and said, "How did you get a shopping cart on yours?"
Okay, these guys take notes. Shopping cart. Why don't we just look at Steam and see what they have? No. We need to start at the bottom, like the worst of the worst, and make sure we're a little bit better than them.
What are we gonna do about this? Voice chat? Can we have voice chat inside of our? No.
Fuck it. Epic Games doesn't have.
There's no way we should have it.
Epic doesn't have it. They don't even have reviews or anything like that. That's perfect. Let's just shopping cart and everybody's gonna be happy. So that meme can die.
Exactly. Oh my god. The way business works sometimes. So in the world of Ubisoft, because the last two are on Ubisoft.
Yeah.
So you have a Far Cry, one of the Far Cry bosses who's been there for 10 years, left. And
Yeah.
he's gone.
So he's been there since Far Cry 3.
Yes.
Yes.
He was a producer in Far Cry 3, moved to an executive producer role for Far Cry 4 and 5, and the series' Blood Dragon, Primal, and New Dawn spin-offs, which all were pretty damn good games. Primal didn't do as well. I don't even know New Dawn. 4 and 5 were super good. And 6...
New Dawn was the sisters, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Right,
it was.
right.
That's what it was. That's why I was like, I can't place that. Where is that in the series? Thanks. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. And it seems like 6 didn't...
I'd say New Dawn probably didn't do as well as they thought it was going to either. None of the like spin-off ones have
It was
done
short,
super
wasn't
well.
it?
Yeah.
That was like a
Yeah, it
really
was
short one.
Yeah, it was apparently pretty short. I did not pick it up. Again, like I've just been
Now,
putting
Chicken,
Far
you
Cry
played
stuff off to
Primal,
the side.
right?
I played Primal,
Chicken
yes.
did, yeah.
I enjoyed Primal. It was a little short-ish, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was a lot of fun for playing in a world like that.
I think a lot of people just didn't get into that one because of the subject matter.
Well, it's because
Like-
it went prehistoric essentially instead of
Right.
can I have my assault rifle? So
Well, to be fair, if you do the Primal one and you set it up like as a survival game, there would have been a lot more people playing it versus as a regular Far Cry game.
That is very true. Damn, if they would have added survival elements to that, like farming and getting materials, build a hut, maybe build a small village for people that you rescue.
You know, like
Damn.
actual Primal shit. Yeah.
That actually would have been really fun. Like get animals, kind of build up your pen, have other tribes attack your base and whatnot. Like create a more dynamic world.
I
That would
think
have been.
with Far Cry, they went out of their box as far as they could, like out of their comfort zone as far as they could to make Primal. I don't think you could get much further for them. I think that would be like, we don't know what we're doing here territory. So
Maybe.
I do kind of wonder what this means. Like Chicken mentioned earlier when he was telling me about it, because he was getting the news together while I was doing some other stuff. He was like, I guess it's because everybody that's a Far Cry fan kind of did what you did, which is I'll pick it up when it comes out or when it goes on sale because it's Far Cry. I know what I'm getting out of it. I don't have to have it day one. He's like, so I guess you just kind of killed the franchise. And I was like, I didn't do it personally.
I mean, it just that's what happens when people get complacent in a series. If it's the same thing every time, year after year, people are like, "Oh, I'll just pick it up when it goes on sale." It's not like, "Wow, it's Far Cry." It's Far Cry. I'll grab it for sure, but I'll grab it when it's cheaper. It's not like extraordinary that it's mind-blowingly good. It's a good game.
I think it's one of those things.
Put it in the library.
Where people, and I hate that we keep going back to this, but it's the first game that really was successful with this kind of setup, is people look at how successful Call of Duty is because that franchise puts a game out a year and it sells like hotcakes every time, just about.
Did not this time though.
Well, I said just about, because of course you're going to have some outliers here and there that don't do so well, but it consistently, annually sells. And a lot of companies, including Ubisoft, looked at that model and went, wouldn't it be nice if we could throw a game of ours out every year and make tons of cash on it? But it doesn't work. Like, there's only a handful of markets that's really gonna work in. Call of Duty has a rabid fan base that's gonna buy that property the second it comes out most of the time. I know you, like, part of the delay here is
and
that
their
they
stuff
can't
is
see,
dynamic
so...
in multiplayer. Like, you do not buy Call of Duty for the story, and to be fair, it's going to fall into the same rut that all the sports games have too.
Well, I mean, yeah,
people have stopped buying them every year because it's just the same thing.
Because it
That's why
used
they
to
have
be
to change
you had
it.
the same fan base for Madden and for FIFA, where they were going to buy the new one every year, but at some point, even the most rabid fans start to experience a little bit of burnout because you're getting essentially the same thing over and over and over again. And Ubisoft backed it off. Like, they did that with Assassin's Creed, where they tried to do an annual. And Far Cry, they've not tried to go to annual, but they're still releasing them a little close together for it to be literally the same kind of gameplay every time, I guess. It's, as I've mentioned several times, it's a comfort food game because you know exactly what you're getting out of. But that also means that it's less desirable for me to have it day one. Because you're not showing me anything that's so exciting and new. Like, yeah, I want the chicken companion in the game that I get to have a wild companion in. That's cool. But I don't have to have it right this second, though, you know? Like, I think they're falling into that, like, we don't need to completely revamp and recreate the series, but we either need to give it a longer rest in between, you know, franchise stuffs, or we need to change something about it. Granted, it looks like they were going to change it to a live service, which sounds like maybe that's part of why this guy was like, nah, I'm just going to leave now. Because I don't know that we need Far Cry to be a live service game.
They need something to change up the Far Cry model, because it's the same game every time. Story's the exact same too, just with different set pieces.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. It's like, here's the generals and the guy that's really bad, or the person that's really bad. Take out their generals, to, you know, infiltrate their areas, set your people up instead, and then go fight the big bad.
You actually have to, like, upgrade your dynamics in each one of the games. You have to change it. You've got to make it more interesting, more to pull in the player more. But I mean, I like the Far Cry series. It's fun, but it's so simple.
It is, and I think they were relying a lot on setting too, because I mean, Far Cry 3 and 4 are both tropical. I almost forgot that 3 was tropical too. But they're different kinds of, well, it's not, I guess 4 is not tropical, it's exotic, really, I guess is what you would say, because you're used to most of your shooters being kind of like your modern day in the cities and whatnot, but with 3, you were on an island, and then in 4, you're in, you know, what is essentially the Tibetan mountains, and it's beautiful, like, it's gorgeous, and then 5, you're rural U.S. area, which is kind of a neat juxtaposition to take, like, sends you back into the city stuff, or the more urban, I guess, environments, even though it wasn't really a city. It was, like, spread out, or rural area. But you can't just rely on that, because it's still the same thing. Like, it's just, you're just reskinning, like Chicken said, basically. It's the same gameplay, you're just reskinning it. Except for they took out the towers. You don't have to do the tower thing in Far Cry 5.
Oh, wow. The towers.
Yeah, they took that out. You don't have to worry about it.
Well, to be fair, that was a regular staple in an Ubisoft game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I find I didn't mind it in 4. But I think because in 4, in my brain, what you were doing there made sense more than it just being like, so that you can see this area, it was legitimately a propaganda tower that you were turning off whilst you were liberating these people. Although... Yeah,
I could kind of see that, but they were still annoying.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I mean, like, I didn't mind them. I liked.
I'd much rather been like the camps that you could go in and fight into.
Yeah.
I'd much rather they had something like that be.
Yeah, I like that too.
What unlocks the next area.
What they needed was to give you some sort of competition in the game too, because it felt like such a straight drive through that it got boring. Like, they needed to make it so that the enemies could come take your shit back over, or you had to defend it, or the enemies were actually aggressive, or things like that.
Because you would, in 4, I didn't play 5 as much as I have played 4, but in 4, like, you'd get notifications, so such and such base is being taken over, please come do something about it. But it didn't really, like, you could go right that minute and fight them off and be like, yeah, I took it back. But if you just, like, half the time I'm like, I'm on the other side of the map from that, and I got some stuff to do, so no. Because I knew nothing was going to happen. Like, they're going to show up and my people are going to fight them off, essentially. I never had to go reclaim them. They could easily done something like that,
too. Make it so that you can upgrade. You have to get resources and upgrade your bases so that they can defend themselves better while you come to their rescue. And while it's being attacked, you can't fast travel to it. Like, things like that make the game a little more dynamic and interesting. Because it was, you go, you fight it, oh, watch out, you're being attacked. 17 days later, you gonna come let these guys attack you so that you can fight them, or you're just not gonna bother? Okay, cool. Don't worry. They won't actually take it over. They're just going to hang out until you get here.
Yeah. I think there needs to be something new in the Far Cry series, which is probably what's happening here. And live service, not the answer. Let me tell you, Ubisoft, not the answer. Far Cry is a single player game. And I know that it's got some co-op stuff that you can do and things like that. It has like a map editor and all of that, but that's not what your core audience is buying Far Cry for, you know? So
is the live service is the live service going to be the one with the villains?
Well, it says this guy left in the middle of the the Far Cry live service
development.
project. So I would assume no. Especially since Chicken told me earlier the Voss part of that DLC is a roguelike, so I don't know that that's going to be your live service part of it. I think they were working on, like, the future Far Cry stuff. I would assume. But
that makes sense.
Dan Hay has departed after 10 years. So sorry. And then Assassin's Creed, they're doing a new thing with somebody's coming back, which is crazy. Usually all of the articles are like, so-and-so is leaving, and this is like, nah, this guy left a while back, but he's coming, he's returning. And it's like, to Ubisoft? Right now? Why? With all the stuff that's going on with Ubisoft, like, that literally was the first thing that sprung to my mind when Chicken's like, yeah, this guy's coming back. I was like, but why, though?
But why?
It's true.
To be fair, they need somebody like him back. If he can still write and they let him have the freedom to write like he did before, then he's just gonna be an improvement overall. He is the one that
Darby McDevitt, by the way, is the name. Okay, so instead of us just saying he constantly. But yes, go ahead, Chicken.
McDevitt. His first work of writing came in Assassin's Creed's portable spin-offs, Discovery and Bloodlines in 2009. He then moved up to serve as lead writer for Revelations, which is Assassin's Creed 2 Revelations, the third one in that one. Mm-hmm. And then the final game in the Ezio trilogy. Then wrote the celebrated Embers short film, which I don't know. I didn't watch that.
It was good.
He then went on to serve as the lead writer for Black Flag, which is a story in itself. Black Flag is incredible. The Animus stuff on the outside, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
whatever.
if he's
Just
the one
remove
that
it from the
went,
game.
let's make the player a person in the Animus, then I don't want you. But
I highly doubt that, because I'm pretty sure that was Ubisoft going, make sure you put our role in the game.
Yes.
We want to be important. Make sure you put us in it. Whatever. We're just going to throw you in every couple of hours in gameplay, and then they can go back to the real game. And he contributed to both Unity and Origins. So, good story parts in all of those games and every part of it. So he's a good hire back, I guess. A good return for the future of the series. So we'll see where it goes from there. Because I don't know if he's going to be available or if he's going to really be able to make any big changes to Assassin's Creed Infinity. But we'll see.
Well,
yeah, because they've been coming in this late. But I mean, the same thing is like, I really wish, and I feel like this is the 950th time I've said this on the podcast alone, not to mention all the times I've said it out there. Please stop making this as close to an annual franchise as you can.
Yeah,
Please
well,
stop.
but the next one's going to be Assassin's Creed Infinity. That's the code name for it currently. So I'm kind of wondering, people are talking about this being like, this article actually says it at the very end of it. Apparently it's planned to be a live service hub for future installments. So it's like, here's where you go to live in the Assassin's Creed world, and we're just going to plug and play all of these games from this one place where you need to pay us money because it's live service, so don't forget that. There's also cosmetics, and look at this shop here. It's like...
Yeah, but if you're all assassins, you know what I mean? Like, when I think of live service, I don't think of a single player game. I think of the fact that it's a multiplayer, and therefore if we're all assassins, and I'm fine with co-oping. Don't get me wrong. We thought we were going to have that in Unity, remember? Like decently.
Like
in
true
Unity.
co-op, but instead it was like, why don't you do this one mission that is not really story related?
No, you want a live service game? I've got you one right here. It's going to be a multiplayer style game because it has to be for a live service. You can choose to play Templars or Assassins. You're given objectives inside a huge world. You can be forced into intervening into each other's missions. Boom. You sell cosmetics and things of that sort. You get a PvP.
That 100% would make me nope out of it. I mean, I'm already out of the series, but you wouldn't be...
I was going to say, you're not the target.
Yeah, clearly. Well, I'd argue that a lot of Assassin's Creed players are not the target for that.
But a lot of the Assassin's Creed players are not the target for live service games.
That's what I'm saying.
They want to bring in a new
That's what
new audience.
What she's saying is there's no reason to have a live service game
for a franchise that doesn't
if you're not targeting your base audience.
Yeah, for their current audience. I mean, but
especially since calling it Assassin's Creed Infinity makes it sound like you're replacing any future IPs so that it can be part of this hub live service world. And that, I mean, I guess everybody's looking at Destiny right now for some reason. It's like, y'all are a couple of years late to this, but you're just gonna like plug and play all of your expansions from here, so it's one base. So is your okay, so here's what it is then. Because let's think about what, you know, how Assassin's Creed is set up. The hub is you as the player that is actually the Abstergo employee. So
Right.
you'll get to cosmetics and all of this stuff for your, I don't know, chats around the water cooler between games or whatever it is that you do in the hub. And then you'll go off and get in your Animus and relive a game and
I
come
don't
back
think
and
they'll
discuss
do
it in
that.
the hub.
I don't think they'll do that.
I mean, but that's what else are you going to do with it?
Well, I mean, you could just remove the multiplayer part and make it so that it's like Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood or something like that, where you make your assassin, and then you guys could go through assassin campaign missions and work together to solve. It's kind of like, God damn, what's that game called that me and Baka played? It's the stealthy multiplayer one, where you could play PvE style or PvP style. You sneak in, steal the key, find the vault, steal the treasure, get it out, and escape. It's similar to that. Like, you can create
what that is.
Hood and Outlaws or something, Outlaws and Hoods or something like that.
I don't know.
But you can make a gameplay loop like that too, because for live service games, the most critical part is the loop. You have to create a good loop, and then you build a game around it. Because if you do not have good replayability for a live service game, you are not a live service game. Like, you have to have something that people want to play over and over and over again. Without that, you're not a live service game. You're just a single player game. Boring. People don't want to play it. People will put it down. You're not making money. Your game's a failure, gets closed, all that stuff. Blah, 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 blah. So, rinse and repeat. Well, we'll see where they go with it. But I don't think Assassin's Creed is necessarily the right franchise for a live service game.
What amazes me on this is we've known for years that Ubisoft has taken their games and said they're all in the same universe. So why not just create another game in the universe?
Because
they can't keep making money off of that. To be fair, they're doing this because they saw what happened to Far Cry. They're like, okay.
No, they're doing this because they're not going to give us Skull and Bones, which is the game that we've been begging for, because they trashed it.
Yeah. I like the top comment on this article, though. Valhalla's story was so dull after 150 hours of busy work, I literally have no idea what it was about. You spent 150 hours in the game and you don't know what it's about? What were you doing?
You should keep reading about that. You should keep reading that comment, Grif, so that they can brag about the game that they thought was good.
What?
There's a lot of people that like Valhalla, though.
Well, yeah. Well,
I mean, but you can like it and still get lost in the busyness of it to like lose threads of the story. I've had games like that. Where it's like, there's so much to do that's outside of the main story, and I've been so far removed from the story for so long that I don't remember what I'm actually supposed to be doing here.
So it is like a games of service.
It's that has been always the main thing I've heard for the gripe with that game, is that it is just too fucking big and there's too goddamn much busy work. Like,
well, I think what they did with it is they were trying to create a live feel to their world. Where I felt like Assassin's Creed, yes, you have the cities and all that type of stuff that kind of felt alive. But I think they were trying to give you opportunity to feel alive. Because you think of Red Dead, like you chopping wood in the morning. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, that's not something I would normally want to do in a game, but I do it because I feel better about all the campmates. Because I'm like, oh, they think I'm awesome now.
I have
taken
care of it.
Yeah, so it's been taken care of. Thanks, guys. Or whatever. Let me go give the hay to the horses.
So,
and so I think that's why you have busy work in there, because there's people that enjoy doing that. I just think it's where there is a point to where it gets too much, and that's not why I play an Assassin's Creed game. But again, it goes back to if as long as it doesn't affect the way I have to play through the game, then does that really matter? Where Red Dead, I feel like it's part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely, there can't be a disconnect between I guess it can't unimmerse you so that you're like, why am I doing this again? It has to be like, I'm chopping wood for my camp people because I'm attached to them, and that's what Arthur would do. You have to have it more in that vein more than, you need to collect 35 of these things because it keeps you busy for minutes. Go.
Well, I mean, but you have that in Red Dead too, though, right? Go find this dinosaur bone. Boom, done.
The dinosaur bones, but those all feel incredibly optional to me. Like, my first playthrough, I was like, Arthur doesn't care about that, so I didn't bother. And then, like, later on, I did, in a subsequent playthrough, I went and looked for them just because I was like, well, you know, it's something else to do. And I know what happens in the story, so it's like a replayability thing. Whereas I don't feel like it's replayability that's intended for Valhalla. It's get on this treadmill. Which happens a lot. I guess maybe Valhalla is like their first step into experimenting with the live service thing without it being a live service yet. It's like... What kind of treadmilling?
I'm just worried about if that's the case though, because their DLC, which is meant to be kind of silly, and the fact that you can like ride bears and shit like that. But
it's ridiculous.
I feel that's what I would be worried about, is that they would go the service route and then do stupid shit inside the service versus you know, just creating for DLC to be funny. You know, I don't know.
Oh well.
Let's see. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Awesome. We appreciate everybody that hangs out with us each and every week at Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Grif.
At Grif Slider.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken 313.
And you can check out Baka Pickle. Also, make sure that you go to Grif's YouTube channel, where she, like she said, she's currently playing through Dragon Age Origins. I have not gotten the last 2 episodes. Well, actually, I got one of the last 2 episodes. I've got to get the next 2.
I was about to say, yes, you did. You asked me why that was so short.
I know. I didn't finish the second one, though, because it was longer.
It's because I got distracted by playing the game accidentally.
Yeah. So I've got to finish that episode and then, you know, yay, prepped. But also make sure you go to Elite Chicken 313 at Twitch. You can get him on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Elite Chicken 313. Those are the words I'm thinking of.
Words are hard.
Fuck life.
Oh my god.
I don't even know where that went. Oh well. Make sure that you go on there. Chicken, what you got for us?
I have no idea for this week. I'll try to figure it out tonight what we're playing.
Are you still going old school, or you think you're going to go newer? What are you thinking?
How about we look at the
probably
Steam
something...
list after a while? Find out.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
I didn't know if that just kind of if playing the simpler game from old school had kind of
well, I'm
like,
probably
that scratched that itch, but now I can move on to newer stuff, or what?
I'm gonna do something modern again, and then probably old school again. I like this balance where it's old and simple and new and complicated. And as I have been learning lately, I am all about balancing lifestyles and having this style where it's give and take. It's good and bad, things like that.
There you go.
There you go.
It makes it good. I enjoy it. It's fun.
Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/MDB Oaktree, where I'm on almost every day of the week. And on Sundays, I'm on YouTube, where you can find me over there as well. You know, we're playthrough Green Hell. There's a lot of playthrough on those. So you can watch and me cuss it, no pants. And we have all types of weird conversations. So that's always good. For Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Grif.
I'm Chicken.
And he's back.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Please hang up and try again.